What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Good afternoon. I'm doing this because, first of all, I was up all night. Let's begin with that. And I had a piece that I did for you with regard to something from the American Music Awards because New Edition performed with New Kids on the Block, but then my thing morphed into these BTS drag queens with 80 people in their band, and they're Korean. They don't speak any English yet. We're supposed to believe they're singing. It's a whole thing. I'll save that. I did know in the last days, I was hearing rumblings that the two people accused of killing my king, El-Hajj Malikah Shabazz, Rahim of Allah, Malcolm X, that they were exonerated. I didn't bother to read or watch anything because I was just disgusted at the news of it. You know, I know what happened to my king. I have been obsessed with his life since I learned about it and have been on Earth. And certainly his death. And I've brought you many pieces over the years concerning him. This I just learned because I think it was Shiro. No. It was somebody else that asked in the live stream the other night, said, Jedi, did you hear about this documentary that they're doing on your wife? I was surprised and immediately angry because any documentary is going to be done about me and my wife, we should be doing the producing and directing and casting and everything else on it. So I'm probably going to be tied up in court for a few weeks, and I've spoken with Janet. She's pissed off too. We're probably just going to have to go away for a couple weeks and just kind of figure out what we're going to do, just like what we want to do and stuff. So, and apparently that's coming out in January. But the person that was saying it, now, so somebody mentioned that in the live stream. Then I saw something here online. Somebody was saying, oh, and also Malcolm X's daughter was found dead in her New York home. Boom. I immediately wanted to know when. For some reason, I needed to know when. Don't you know, it's November 22nd. Now, today is the 23rd. But November 22nd is significant because it was November 22nd, 1963, that President Kennedy was murdered. The days don't line up because he was killed on a Friday. But alas, apparently this was on Monday. That's not so significant. Just the fact of it being November 22nd is, I suggest to you before reading anything or knowing anything, is not random. I also went ahead and pulled up potential articles with regard to two men convicted of murdering Malcolm X are exonerated. And isn't it interesting that you see it says 1 day ago? Isn't it interesting that they're exonerated, and then we're to believe that then she's found dead in her home. Although that article may be from 1 day ago, I'm seeing other ones here from 2 days ago. Man convicted of killing Malcolm X will be exonerated. Okay, will be. So it hadn't happened 2 days ago. Here's one from 4 days ago. Fundamental justice judge clears 2 in Malcolm X slaying. So apparently they were leading up to it, but the exoneration happened 1 day ago, as you see there. All right, we're going to come to that because we want to understand how it is that his daughter Malikah was. What happened? What happened? Also, I need to take this random moment to say also, I told you so. I told you all Wendy Williams was going down every time I bitched about her. Even when she was still on the show, I said she's going down. She's going down. I pray for the end of her show. She's going down. And what I have foretold and wished for has come to pass. She is now in a wheelchair and unable to walk, and all sources are saying it's highly unlikely she's coming back to the show. So that's what it is. Now, this is from the New York Post. A daughter of King Al-Hajj Malikah Shabazz was found dead Monday. Let me enlarge this a little bit for y'all, or for all of us, quite frankly. Was found dead Monday inside her Brooklyn home, sources said. Malikah Shabazz, 56, so she's young, was discovered by her daughter inside the Midwood residence at about 4:40, the sources said. At about 4:40. 4:40. 40 is the year of enlightenment. 4:40. 4 and 4 is 8. I always tell you, when you read about accidents and deaths and things like that, the times that they report are important, everybody. Because why would they? It's enough to say she was just discovered in the afternoon. 4:40. Investigators do not suspect foul play. So just a second. How don't they suspect foul play? There's been no autopsy. It's a day. Nothing has happened. And in this amount of time, there's not even enough time for a full investigation. You hadn't done any CSI work. But investigators are already proclaiming nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Do not suspect foul play. An autopsy will determine Shabazz's. See how ironic that is? You've already made the proclamation. Period. Sources said, no foul play, sources said, period. And then, well, an autopsy will determine Shabazz's cause of death. Well, then you should have just said that. This first part of the sentence shouldn't even be there. You should have just said, she was found at 4:40, blah, blah, blah. And an autopsy will determine the cause of death. But no. Investigators do not suspect foul play. You don't know anything. Shut up. NYPD Commissioner Dermot Shea said Tuesday that Shabazz had been, quote, ill for a period of time, end quote, but didn't elaborate. Well, again, you just throw out no foul play and then autopsy will be performed. Well, she had been ill, but we don't know anything. These are just establishing ghosts. You see, why don't you just shut up and wait for the entire thing to be found out and then you do your report, New York Post? How about that? How about that? Well, she had been, and again, um, the commissioner said that um, Shabazz had been ill for a period of time. Why would the commissioner know that? Why wasn't it the commissioner said a family member said that she had been ill for a period of time? No, this is the commissioner said Tuesday that the Shabazz had been, quote, ill for a period of time, but didn't elaborate because he's not related to the family and doesn't know a damn thing anyways and shouldn't be speaking. Um, Quote, at this point in time, working with other authorities, the medical examiner, and speaking to the family, she had been ill for a period of time, and at this point, nothing appears suspicious, Shia told Pix 11. I'm over it. Um, he added that cops were, quote, absolutely not, end quote, looking for a suspect. Wow. This is talking to somebody through the press, everybody, that's not me and you. Based on everything I've cited so far, and now it's just gone up another notch because this is on an island all by itself. I always tell you, a writer, an editor, and a publisher. And so this is all by itself, just floating there, just waiting to be, discovered. He added, after he's already made enough, then he added that cops were, quote, absolutely not, end quote, looking for a suspect. Nothing to see here. You understand? You want to make that proclamation a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out after there's been an autopsy and some sort of an investigation. You've talked to some family members and the last people that she saw and what she ate last and where she was seen last and all of that. Fine. But these are bold statements being made the day after. And now they want somebody to know we're not looking for anybody. So don't worry, you're safe. Quote, I'm deeply saddened by the death of Malikah Shabazz, Bernice King, who needs to die, the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., said in a post on Twitter. And just a second, here's the other thing, everybody. Just the fact, this is another reason why this is specious and evil, because just the fact, even if what they're proclaiming is true, and it's not, they're lying, but even if it were true, just the fact that this is the daughter of Malcolm X means it should be given a certain treatment, a certain profile and consideration. These are one of the ones you want to definitely get right. And by the way, this is all happening at the same time that we're waiting on a verdict in the Ahmaud Arbery case. And injustice has just been handed in the fat-ass Rittenhouse case. And the atmospherics, it's the week of this fake thing called Thanksgiving. And I could just imagine a list of things of why this is inappropriate. Do you understand? My heart goes out, quote, my heart goes out to her family, the descendants of Dr. Betty Shabazz and King Malcolm X. Dr. Shabazz was pregnant with Malikah and her twin sister, Malikah, when brother Malcolm was assassinated. Malikah and her twin sister, Malikah, are the youngest of 6 daughters of King Malcolm X and his wife and Queen Betty Shabazz. So Malcolm might have been out there preaching and lecturing, but the brother was busy. You understand? He put in that work. You feel me? Because he knew he needed to leave his legacy here. He needed to leave his seed here. And that was a busy brother. be a king. I don't need to read anything from Bernice King. Again, she needs to die. Again, it's always the wrong people dying, everybody. It's the wrong people. It's the wrong people. It's just the wrong people. The twins were born 7 months after the civil rights activist was killed, after the king was killed. Shabazz had several run-ins with the law over the years. Okay, so now let's try and start planting some seeds of doubt. If you're not going to name those run-ins, then shut the fuck up. You see, and again, that's on an island by itself. They could have put that earlier in the article and with something else, but no, this needs to stand out. Shabazz had several run-ins with the law over the years. Well, she was 56, so I'm sure she didn't just walk perfectly through life like the Jedi has. That's something else. All right, but that's a specious statement. She and her daughters, Betty Shabazz, were arrested in a Walmart parking lot in Maryland in January 2017 on animal cruelty charges. You see, this lets me know this was on purpose. This is foul play, everybody. This is 24 hours after. So this is foul play because why she didn't do anything to anyone. So why is it necessary now to start adding this shit? Animal cruelty charges in a damn Walmart parking lot? Like, what's the need to print that? Why do we need to know that? How's that relevant to her death? It's not. Several injured dogs were found subjected to inhumane conditions. Well, cite your inhumane, devilish asses and how you've treated African people from 1421 to the day that I speak, white bitch. This is classic white psychiatry. They always want to talk about somebody else when nothing is more evil and more provocative and has been a detriment to humanity than their very presence. And I'm supposed to give a fuck about a dog? I'm over it. We're not reading that. Shabazz also pleaded guilty, don't give a damn. They're putting out a whole rap sheet. You see what I'm saying? The victim in that case, nobody cares. Shabazz's death came just 1 week after two of the king's convicted murderers, Muhammad Aziz and the late Khalil Islam, were exonerated. Aziz and Islam each spent some 2 decades in jail for the February 21st, 1965 murder of King Alhaj Malikah Shabazz at the Audubon Ballroom in Washington Heights. Both were paroled in the 1980s. And again, you just spent 5 minutes demonizing this woman who has died, and when you talk about this exoneration, you don't say shit about white evil. How the FBI was tapping his phones and following him, and how they had installed a plant, an informant who had worked his way into being the head of Malcolm's security and was responsible for the stand down order that day, and on and on and on. You see what I'm saying? The devil, everybody. The devil. Nothing less. Nothing less. The duo and a third man, Mujahid Abdul Halim, were found guilty of the murder in March 1966 and sentenced to life in prison a month later, you see. But Kyle Rittenhouse just gets to go home. Nothing to see here. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, And these brothers weren't guilty. I mean, that's just what it is. two of the three men convicted of the assassination. I really don't want to get into this because you saw I have the other article that we could look at with regard to their exoneration, but I wanted more information on uh, Malikah. Halim, who admitted to being one of the killers, vouched for Aziz and Salam, testifying in the late 70s that the men had, quote, nothing to do with it. Yeah, this is some bullshit. Wait, why do they have LeBron's picture with the lying blower? LeBron James sure has a lot to say about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm almost tempted, but that's not what we're here for. Damn it. Damn it. Stay on course, Jedi. Stay on course. I guess we'll just look at that first one that was from a day ago. With regard to these two brothers. And maybe we won't, because I get so sick of this. You know, they want you to sign up or some shit. Like, we're not doing that. Well, actually, on this phone, I don't mind doing it because this phone is not in service no damn way. But I'm not going to click continue because then they may want me to sign up. All right. Two men convicted of murdering my king are exonerated. Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam were originally convicted of murdering Malcolm in 1965. Nearly 55 years later, the men are finally exonerated. Tiffany Cross talks to a leading expert on the subject, Abdul Rahman Mohammed, whose work was featured in the Netflix document Who Killed Malcolm X. So it's going to be speculative. I mean, we don't need her. We need to hear from them or just direct report of the goings on. Partial verdict reached in trial. This is not even an article then, apparently. So that was bait and switch. We'd just like to know how that conclusion was coming, like what was the legal pathway to, oh yeah, they're being exonerated now. And then you see how they're making the insinuation, damn it. You see how they're making the insinuation in this headline? Malcolm X's 56-year-old daughter. Wait, no. I need to see the original one. Right here. Malcolm X's daughter, Malikah Shabazz, found dead in New York City days after two men exonerated for his murder. You see? So they're trying to insinuate there. Oh, we're not saying that had anything to do that they're related. We're just saying something specious is going on, everybody. The timing. All these decades, these men have languished in prison, and now they're exonerated. And just, oh my God, lo and behold, Malcolm X's daughter is found dead in her own house. Who believes that? If so, you need to just go to Vegas now or go to your local thing and do a scratcher or play a lottery ticket or something because you're about to win right now. And of course, you'll send me my 15%, but we'll get into that and we'll write up the contracts. I don't want to get into that. Something white evil is going on with these two. I always tell you, everything is connected, everybody. Nothing is random. Nothing is random. Nothing. Decades-long justice judge dismisses conviction. That USA Today. Let's see if we can get anything from that. Come on. This is 4 days ago. Dismisses conviction of 2 men assassination of my king. 2 of 3 men convicted in the 1965 assassination of my king have been exonerated after a New York judge dismissed their conviction Thursday. The Manhattan District Attorney and lawyers for the 2 men moved to vacate the convictions of Mohammed Aziz and the late Khalil Islam in the 1965 murder. And Manhattan Judge Ellen Biden, interesting, Ellen Biden, who's signing all the fucking legislation for these fucking fucked up ass alphabet people? Biden. And who's their main mascot? Ellen. We think it's ironic this person's name is Ellen Biden. This is the judge that is there. Come on, man. There's too many things going on here, dude. I need to, this is not going to work for me in a recorded video. I'll still release this, but there's much more digging that needs to be done and dissertation. Judge Ellen Biden tossed out the verdicts. Aziz and Islam, then known as Norman 3X Butler and Thomas 15X Johnson, were convicted in 1966 and spent about 2 decades in prison, all the while maintaining their innocence. Aziz was released in 1985. Islam was released 2 years later and died in 2009. I am an 83-year-old man who was victimized by the criminal justice system, and I do not know how many more years I have to be creative, Aziz said in a statement through his lawyers. However, I hope the same system that was responsible for the travesty of justice also takes responsibility for the immeasurable harm it caused me. It won't, you see. And we are not a people who are willing to organize and go and flatten everything and everybody who was responsible for this injustice. So it is what it is. What can you do? What can you do? Mohammed Aziz poses for photos outside the courthouse after his conviction in the murder of my king was vacated on 18th November of this year. He looks fantastic for, is that the one they said was 83? He looks fantastic, dude. SubhanAllah. Yeah, this is going to start cutting me off. So I'll just summate. We're going to have to get back. We're going to have to go deeper into this, everybody. We're going to have to. Either in a recorded video or certainly the next time that we are live together over the next day or so. You know. I'm just over it. I'm just over it. You know, Shiro and I were speaking last evening, and we were mentioning, and at one point it came up about how, you know, this is right in that wheelhouse because the King family, you know, we were talking about, y'all know how I'm always talking about, where's Dexter King? Where's Dexter King? Why don't we see him? He looks just like his father. He sounds like him. It's him. And this reminds me of that, what we were talking about, because these families are iconic. And I feel like we as a people aren't really giving them their proper royal status amongst us. We revere them and we respect them, but it should be going further than that. You know, there should be even more of a display even. And that we don't see them using their status hardly ever at all, quite frankly, and for really nothing when they do. yeah, I'm going to have to dig more into this, you know, because this is an affront to everything. Y'all know I love Malcolm X. I love him. I love him. I love him. I love him. One of my prayers is that if he were alive today, I would wash his feet for him, you know, as an act of honor. Because I feel like I'm cut from the fabric that made up him and others like him. But we'll speak more. For now, I'll leave it here. This is the Jedi.